Good afternoon and welcome back to Transportation Tuesday on Adventures for Anyone, and today I'm ranking them, the Northeast Regional versus the Acela. So my husband and I decided it was time to take that long-awaited visit up to Boston, and we caught a bus and 2 Metro North trains down to New Haven, where Amtrak, Metro North, Hartford and Connecticut Rail, and the East Shore Line all come together to catch the Northeast Regional train from New Haven to Boston. Now, New Haven has this old Union Station. This is a beautiful place. If you take a train out of there, make sure you check out the station. It's absolutely fabulous. Gives you the feeling of times past. It's a great thing. So at any rate, we went down below and up onto those platforms, and we waited and then boarded our regional train up to Boston. Now, what do you get on that regional train? Well, we paid $40 for our tickets one way from New Haven to Boston. You get in coach, which is where we sat, is unassigned seating. So as you can see here, we found some seats. There was storage, there was the lavatory. It really felt like a train the way it was structured. And when you look out these windows, you get that strange, I'm looking at a car window thing going on, because the windows on this train are not tinted. They are tinted on the Acela. You'll see the difference later on. Now, we made our way on the regional train up to Boston. We had a top speed of 125 miles an hour. We made multiple stops. It took 2 hours and 40 minutes for our trip. If you take the regional from Washington to Boston, which is what we call a full trek, it's comparing the Acela to the regional. And even though the regional does go as far south as Virginia Beach, we're talking about Washington to Boston here. That takes you 8 hours on the regional. Once again, it has many stops. It even stops in Bridgeport on some runs. So there's a lot going on there. As you can see, it's a beautiful ride. You have beautiful scenery out the window. They had a wonderful cafe car where you could go get your sandwiches and your drinks and your beer and your snacks and whatever. And they had about a half a dozen tables in there that you could sit at, watch the world go by while you were having your snacks. It was a nice little car. The folks running it were nice. Everything was nice about it. And it's very important to make note of this because, once again, we're comparing these two trains. So later on, I will tell you about the Acela and all of that. So we made our way. It was a beautiful day. We were going to Boston. Once again, it's one of those trips where I just didn't want to drive. We'll be doing some videos in the future. I will be telling you and showing you why I don't like to drive in Boston. It is just that old world congestion everywhere you go, and taking the T around is just easier than driving. And just so you know, I am a budget traveler. That's very true. But what I'm not is I'm not cheap. I don't spend my time just looking for that best price. I like my best bang for the buck. I like to be comfortable. I don't like to waste money. I mean, I spent the money to ride the Acela. I've spent a lot of money to do a lot of things. If you're watching this the day I release it, I'm in New York watching a Broadway show. I'm not cheap. I'm frugal, and it's very good for travel. Now, we landed in Boston in Back Bay Station. They have 3 major stations there, South Back Bay and North. Back Bay is where we went, and we were able to catch the T there. They also have bus service there, and it is where Amtrak comes in. It's a nice station. It really is. And here I'm going to show you a few things about Boston. Once again, there's a lot of tours there. That's one reason not to bother to drive. The traffic is another reason not to bother to drive. You can enjoy Boston Common here. We were at the duck pond. It's absolutely beautiful. But parking, while there is parking, you have to know where it is. And in places like Long Wharf here, It can be very difficult to navigate driving it, so why do it? You walk out of the T, here you are. So we enjoyed our weekend, and then we were back at Back Bay for part 2 of our rail adventure. And this time we were taking the Acela from Boston back to New Haven. The Acela is business class and first class only. It's all assigned seating. And you can see here, you have a nice tray table you can pull out, footrest, and look up here. This is the thing that got me about the Acela. It looks like airplane storage and airplane ventilation. So it was a little different to me than the idea of actually riding a train. You look out the window, you can see there's tinting on the window so you don't get that strange glare. Now, what do we need to know about the Acela? We paid $68 for our ride, but it could have been as much as $256 one way, Boston to New Haven, depending on the time of day. So we paid the $68. We took our ride. There were minimal stops. Our top speed was 160 miles an hour. It took us 2 hours to get from Boston to New Haven. It takes 7 hours to get from Boston to Washington, D.C., or vice versa. Which one do I think is worth it? Well, the idea that I found out that in the snack car, the cafe car, you can only stand up at a little bar in the Acela. The fact that it looks like the inside of an airplane, the seats are comfortable, the lavatories are wonderful, the speed is a lot of fun, but I've got to say that bang for your buck, folks, take that Northeast Regional if you're going to take one of these trips. You're not saving enough time to make it worth even the extra money, but you want to feel like you're on a train, and I felt way more like I was on a train with the Regional. That's just my assessment of the situation. You can agree, disagree, let me know in the comments, and I'll be very happy to hear your thoughts on this one. But would I do this again? I would take either train again. It was lovely. Like I said, we took the bus to the train station, to Metro North down to New Haven, and then Amtrak up to Boston. We took the T around all weekend. We had a wonderful, wonderful time. It's very convenient to get around. We'll be showing you in future videos just how compact the major tourist districts in Boston are, so that's something to look forward to in the future. But after our entire weekend of running around and having a really good time, before we knew it, we were back at the New Haven station, hopping that Metro North and headed home. So there it is, folks. Thank you for joining me today on Adventures for Anyone. Once again, let me know in your comments, what do you think? Regional or Acela? Let me know. And thank you for joining me today. Hi, I'm Terry. Thank you for joining me today on Adventures for Anyone, and join me again in the future, and like and subscribe if you like what you see here. And I can teach you where to go in the Northeast, how to have fun, and how to travel the way I do, which is as a budget traveler. Thank you again. Have a great day.